On Saturday, January 23rd, the May 1st Movement Coalition presented an educational entitled Working People and the Economic Crisis. Speakers included the Agricultural Workers Alliance, Migrante, and a former Oakville auto plant worker.
Well, first of all, thank all of you for being here today. When I first heard about the event, my first thought were, okay, what do I talk about now? And because agricultural workers, for the most part, across Canada, have been one of the most exploited workers. At some point, Stan Raper, which is the national coordinator of the Agricultural Workers Alliance, called it the Canadian little dirty secret. Because just like we saw in the video, most people, regular people, don't know about what's going on in their own backyard. UNCW Canada, in conjunction with Agricultural Workers Alliance, has been advocating for agricultural workers since back in 1994. We have made a lot of gains, but the struggle is still continues. Most of you must have heard by now that we recently were at the courts on December 17, which ironically just it was one day before International Migrants Day. And during the day at court, basically, our union still argues that the agricultural workers have the right to organize and form a union here in Ontario. They have been excluded from the labor movement. They were actually accepted back in '94 for a brief period of time when the NDP was in power, but that was taken away by the Harris government. The Agricultural Workers Alliance, in working with the workers from Mexico, Jamaica, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, wherever they come from. What we have noticed in the past, and particularly with the economic crisis that is happening right now, is that more exploitation is happening, more abuses, and it goes without saying that one of the things that was discussed here on the video too was that basically each worker is at the whim of the employer. There's no standards in terms of what's acceptable when it comes to housing conditions, working conditions, health and safety at the farm and everything, especially here in Ontario. So a worker can come into a farm, and if I'm the employer and I take a first look at you, and I don't like the way you smell, I don't like the way you look, I don't like your attitude, you're on the flight the next day. And that's a reality that is happening every day. And that's something that we, as a union, are totally against, because it just continues the vicious cycle and the exploitation of these workers. It's worth mentioning too that Mexican workers, as I was looking at the stats just the last couple of days, one of the things that I do at the office is continue to monitor the amount of workers that come in every year. And so I just came across the stats for the last year of the amount of Mexican workers came in, and I got the stats from 2000, and except for a year in 1993, and when the 2003, sorry, 2004, when we had a small dip. Workers are increasingly coming to Canada, and the number keeps growing and growing, which makes it even more relevant for us in the labor movement to make sure that protect the rights of these workers. By protecting the rights of these workers, we're not just protecting the right of migrant workers, we're protecting the rights of all agricultural workers, whether it be domestic and foreign. The fact that we actually taken the fight with migrant workers, foreign migrant workers, to us it just made sense, because they're the ones that are the most exploited. They're the ones that there's more repercussions to, and it just makes sense that once we win the legislation in June when it comes out, then we will be able to protect everybody. In the labor movement, it's always, we have always and constantly talked about the fact that when we have workers and protect them, and by organizing them and making them part of a union, whether it be our union or your union, it doesn't matter. The idea is to protect the workers and the rights of the workers. As long as we do that, then we're protecting other people. And we've seen it time and time and again. There is the domino effect. If we protect workers in the agriculture sector, well, guess what's going to happen next? People in the packing industry are going to come next, and so forth, right? So that's the idea, and it's very important. It's very important to protect the rights of agricultural workers. To me, it's for me, it's a passion. I do it 24/7, and I do it without thinking about it, because to me, it just makes sense. The fact that we always complaining about the cost of food, the fact that we're complaining about, you know, how expensive things are getting. Well, you know, I personally rather pay 15 cents, 20 cents more, but at least know that the person that picked up that apple, the person that picked that carrot, the person that picked up that lettuce, at the end of the day, his rights or her rights are being protected and are being are being protected by, you know, by anybody. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Every time I go to the store, I always make it a point to think about, you know, where did this apple came from? Who picked it up? Under which conditions? I really invite every one of you that is here today, if you do get a chance to go to our website and get a little more information about the struggle with agricultural workers. Our webpage is www.awa-ata.ca. I really invite you to get a little bit more information. Our national report for 2008-2009 just came out, explaining a lot more in detail about what happens with agricultural workers in terms of housing, the way they're treated, workers' compensation, and how sometimes employers don't actually take workers or file complaints. So I hope that I managed to give you some information, and our struggle continues. Thank you very much.